Shalom friends from near and far. It's an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to learn some Torah together. I want to thank Rabbi Brand for offering me this opportunity. As you can see behind me, I'm here in Eretz Yisrael this summer in Beit Shemesh. The building and the sound of the building is one of the great privileges and pleasures of being in Eretz Yisrael. And I thank you for the opportunity to learn together. There was a Yid in New York City who was walking out of a shul on a Motzei Shabbos, and an unfortunate person who was not a person of means, a homeless person on the street, stopped him and said, maybe you could spare some money. To which this Jew responded, brother, I'm so sorry. We just finished our Sabbath, our Shabbos, and I don't have any money on me. I wish I could help you. To which the homeless man responded, you did help me. So he said, how did I help you? He said, you called me brother. You called me brother. And that made me feel like a person. So you did help me. Thinking about that a lot, thinking about the way that we talk to each other, the language that we use, the way that we communicate, the way that words have the power to give life or, God forbid, to take life. Like it says in Mishlei, Maves v'chayim biyad lashon. That death and life are literally in the power of the tongue. The way that we speak to each other, again, builds people or, God forbid, crushes people. And it's such a sensitive point, especially here in Eretz Yisrael in these times. So many conversations, heavy conversations, delicate conversations taking place. But first and foremost, Jews need to know how to converse with each other, how to just be able to look at each other, how to be able to speak to each other. It's so much a part of the tikkun that we've been working on for the last 2,000 years as we continue our march towards Mashiach. I once read in the Sefer that phrase from Mishlei, Maves v'chayim biyad lashon, is Rashi Tevos Mabul, which brings us back to the world of Noach. Noach was a person who spent many, many years speaking to people, trying to get people to perhaps join him, to do tshuva. And it's a shocking truth, a painful irony, to study the world of Noach as he was building that teva. Teva, of course, literally means word. And as Noach is building something, a boat that's called word, he's struggling to find the right words. And the painful truth is that we don't find that Noach was makarev a single person onto his boat. So many years spent building the boat, speaking to people, trying to maybe be machazik people, and somehow, not one person beyond his own family was interested in joining Noach on his boat, was willing to take him seriously, and the question is so obvious, which is why? So I once heard an interpretation, really based on the Medrash, that when Noach would begin his Musar Shmuzin, when he would speak to people, when he would try to convey his message of tshuva, of change to people, he began with the word shotim. You fools, listen up. Don't you realize that your life is meaningless? Don't you realize that God is going to punish you? When a person begins a Musar Shmuz with the word shotim, fools, people immediately tune out. They shut down. You don't respect them. You don't respect their opinion. You're not really communicating with another human being. And because of that, unfortunately, Noach was so unsuccessful in building his teva. Again, teva literally means word. The irony goes further. We find in the Svarim HaKadoshim that the dimensions of the teva was 30 amos high, it was 300 amos long, it was 50 amos wide. The numerical value, 30, of 300, of 50, is Lamed, Shin, and Nun, which spells Lashon, which of course means language. And again, Noach clearly was struggling to find the right words. Contrast that, if you will, with Yaakov Avinu in Parshas Vayetze. Yaakov Avinu in Parshas Vayetze, a stranger comes to town, he's looking for a shidduch. Eventually he's going to encounter Rachel in just a few moments by the well. But he turns to a group of shepherds. Vayomer lehem Yaakov, Achai, me'ayin atem. He turns to the shepherds and says, Achai, my brothers, my friends, where are you from? And he goes on to give them a Musar Shmuz. It's midday, what are you sitting around? Why aren't you at work? And they explain, we can't get started till everyone gets here to work together, to take the rock off the well, but it's a bit of a Musar Shmuz. And yet they were makabel. And they were willing to engage Yaakov, a total stranger, an outsider, giving them advice on how they should run their shepherding business. They were open to it because he began with the warm and friendly word achai, brothers and friends. In the words of the Netziv, the Hemek Davar over there in Parshas Vayetze, Lamed lishono ledaber lashon ava v'reyos. Train yourself to speak a language of love, of kindness, of brotherhood, of friendship. Al kain kara l'roim shelo akira me'olam achai. And therefore Yaakov turned to a group of shepherds that he had never met, he didn't know them, he hadn't recognized them, he had no relationship with them. And he begins his conversation with them with the words achai, with a word of kindness and a gesture of friendship. I read in a recently published book by a student of Rabbi Steinsaltz. Rabbi Steinsaltz, Zatzal, pointed out that the first question of the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks Adam and Chava in the garden is Ayeka, where are you? But really the next question of the Torah, which Rabbi Steinsaltz said really defines the essence of a person, is Ayeh Hevel Achicha, where is your brother? How do you relate to other people? It's again so much what we're thinking about during the 3 weeks. It's so much a part of the tikkun that we so desperately need to move towards Geula, towards Mashiach, towards Bayis Shlishi. And I hope that these words will help us to be mechazik us, to strengthen us to speak to each other in the way that brothers and friends and people who love each other and are one nation can communicate with one another. Thank you so much, and we should be zoche to greet Mashiach together.